Yesterday I came live and I was talking to you all about the universal laws and how at the beginning of my personal development journey, universal laws became a very critical part of me changing my life. And I thought today what a good idea it would be for me to come and kind of share stories and perspectives of how I live my life by law, so that hopefully it gives you an opportunity to look at your own life and how you can shift your own life to live by law so that you live on purpose. Daily reminder that you are loved. Yay! Thank you so much. I love that. Okay, so for those of you that do not know me, I was raised in a very impoverished way, not unlike a lot of us, right? A lot of us grow up with adverse conditions in houses that have, plywood on the floor, no paneling on the walls, mobile homes, trailer parks, the whole 9 yards. My family, unfortunately, was pretty eat up with addiction and hardship and minimum wage jobs. I very vividly remember my beautiful mother getting cars, like a little Honda Escort, the hatchback one, and every time she would save up enough money to get her a new vehicle, one of my uncles would get drunk and wreck it and crash it. That one specifically was crashed into a deer. So, to say it very modestly, as I was growing up in the way that we are taught culturally and societally, I thought that was my destiny. I do have a brother, but we were disconnected, and I still really don't know why. I never got the full story to that, but I do have a brother that did not live with us. He went and lived with his dad, and that was fine. But I started going to school, obviously. Like middle school is when all of this really started coming full circle. I was the girl that was wearing the high-watered pants. I didn't have the cool things. I wasn't really smart with math, I couldn't really kind of figure it out. And I just didn't think that my life consisted of very much. And there was this woman, excuse me, I should have brought water. There was this woman that I met. Her name is Marian Jackson, and I will never forget Marian. She was a friend of my very first boyfriend. His name's David. But Marian was an amazing woman, and she was a multimillionaire. And Marian was able to do whatever she wanted. Thank you guys for the love. This means so much to me. Grab your popcorn, baby. That's right. Marian was an amazing woman. She liked to drink wine and smoke Virginia Slims. And Marian had a little lake house at Lake James, Bear Creek Marina in North Carolina, and we used to love going there. My boyfriend at the time did driving. He was her driver, if you will, and so we would get in our little car and drive all the way to, I think it was Winston-Salem, to pick up her children in exchange with her ex-husband. And the reason I tell you about Marian is because it was with her that I very first went to the beach. And I didn't meet her until, I don't know, 14, 15 years old. She was the first person to take me to a beach, Oak Island, North Carolina, actually. And I thought that was so cool. She bought me a cell phone because at the time I didn't have a phone. I had like a little flip phone that you add minutes to. She got us a car. So we drove the car. We started in a Toyota 4Runner, and then we got a Ford Explorer that we ended up crashing. And then at the back of that, we got an Excursion that we would drive, and she paid for the gas, and she paid for the maintenance, and she paid for all the things. And an Excursion that we would drive, and she paid for the gas, and she paid for the maintenance, and she paid for all the things. And it was like, oh my gosh, this must, be what money's like. But still, Marian had her issues, right? She had her issues. She had her own vices. And so even being that close to someone with that much money, and I thought it was crazy. She would go to an ATM and pull out $1,000, and I'm like, oh my gosh. She would get papers in the mail, and it would be like, oh, you made some money on your stock options. And I remember thinking, what? This is crazy. Like, how does this lady do this? And she would say, her mother, she got it from her parents. She was definitely a trust fund baby. She was a school teacher, but her dad owned a construction company that did really well. And so when they passed away, she got a big chunk of that, and then ended up spending all of the money. During the time I knew her, she spent all of the money and ended up having to sell the lake house. She had to sell the jet skis. She sold the boat. She sold the cars. She downsized her house, and she lived in a trailer. Marion went from all of this to living in a trailer. And so the reason I'm sharing this with you is because that was my idea of being wealthy. First off, wealthy people can have money, but it doesn't last. People, people like me aren't made for money like that. You have to be a trust fund baby in order to make money. This is just what I believe to be true. I also dropped out of high school because I got mixed in with the wrong people. And obviously that was my paradigm. It's like, yeah, drop out of high school. My whole family did. I would have been literally the first person to graduate high school and like walk the stage, but I would have had no family to come to my graduation because they just didn't do things like that, right? So I'm sharing with you this world that I was born into that I thought was the world. Like the way that we were taught is you stay within your circle and you don't go outside of it. The people that make big money aren't like you. You're not like them. You don't have it like them. You need their things to be like them. And if they have money and they keep money, it's because they're doing something wrong, right? It's not right. And so there's this whole paradigm around wealth and living and vitality and health and addiction and all of these things. So I'm talking to you about this as an example of the law of mentalism. All is mind. When I got into, and there's a whole lot more I could tell you about, but when I got into spirituality and personal development back in 2020, my entire life changed because I started in a community with people that were living a different life than me. They were making money. $10,000 a month was effortless for them. They were able to be themselves and do their things and do it how they wanted to and take care of their bodies and break generational curses. Hello, Michelle. Break generational traps and curses and things that I never thought was possible. And it really dawned on me when starting to learn from Bob Proctor that truly it's not about what I've been through, it's about the way I look at it. It's not about the circumstances I was raised in, it's about the way I looked at them. And before I got into this work, I thought these are all my limitations, not my superpowers, because who says that, right? Who says, oh, I'm grateful for being raised in poverty around a bunch of drug addicts and people that aren't ever gonna get it figured out. I didn't see it that way. I saw it as I got handed a shitty deck of cards and this is going to be my life indefinitely. When I tell you, he's your mentor now. Brian is. Oh, I love Brian. He's a good friend of mine. That's so fun. When I tell you that as soon as you start shifting what you think is an obstacle into an opportunity, the world begins to return to you the contents of your consciousness. I just did a TikTok video about this because I think it is pivotal. To me, this is a universal truth regardless. All is mind. Nothing on this planet, nothing on this earth has meaning until you give it meaning. And the thing that really changed for me is realizing that the reason I kept getting crap circumstances was because I believed that that is what I deserved. And I mean this without a shadow of a doubt. I say it every time I speak about this. I say, don't take my word for it. Try it on. Try it on for yourself. Go out and start expecting something different and watch a different result. When I began to realize, wow, I have a gift. I have a gift. All those years when my mom's like, do you ever shut up? No, I don't. I have a gift of channeling. I can talk, I feel, I can articulate. I look at things a certain way. I'm able to explain things in a certain way that make sense for people. This is a gift for me and I'm allowed to be paid to be myself. I'm allowed to be who I am. Thank you. And I'm allowed to make something of that. I'm allowed to have abundance in my life. I'm allowed to do something different and it not be temporary. When you give yourself permission to go outside of the shit that has kept you captive your whole life, you open yourself up to a completely different world because all is mind. Whatever is going on in your life today is going to happen regardless, right? Michael Singer speaks about this in his book, Living Untethered. Whatever's going on in the world is going to happen. The election, the this, the that, the politics, the tariffs. It is not an absolute truth that those things are bad. It is a perceived idea and it will affect you in whatever way you allow it to affect you. If you think that the economy crashing is going to diminish everything that you've worked so hard for, watch it happen. Buckle up, Chuck, because it's going to happen. And I get that it can sound like that's delusional. Yes, and I think it's more delusional to believe that it doesn't work this way, especially in our world, how we rely more on what we're told than what we experience. Really think about that for a minute. We rely more on what we're told, especially in school and church. We rely more on the things we're told to believe in than the actual experience that we have ourselves. One of which of those ideas being your intuition. So often, threaded through all types of religions and culture societies, we are taught, don't listen to that internal voice, don't meditate, don't quiet your mind, don't listen to that internal nudge that might just possibly be God, because it's going to steer you away. Steer you away from what? The delusion. The delusion, I don't believe. The voice is the delusion. I don't think expecting a different result in your life is delusional. I think not expecting a different result in your life is delusional. We're going to start going into in the Universal Order course. Please go check out my bio. We would absolutely love to have you. I've decided to keep it at the price point it's at. We're not going to increase. Please check it out and see if it's a good fit for you. But we are going to go into like the law of gestation. All good things take time. So back when I started studying with Bob and learning all these principles, my life didn't change overnight. But looking back in retrospect, it kind of did at the same time. In 1 year, I started making my yearly income monthly in 12 months. 12 months. How is it possible? Because I began believing it was possible for me. Because I started moving differently. I started expecting different things. And you can too. I quit tolerating bullshit, tolerating gossip, going above and beyond for people that would never show back up for me. I set up boundaries. I had boundaries. I learned about emotional intelligence. I became a sound parent. Like all of these things combined together can change your life in what feels like an instant. And so with that being true, why would we not want to learn to live by law? There is an invisible infrastructure of principles that dictate this entire physical experience. And I shared it yesterday, just like this. This is how I see reality. Up here is the ether, infinite intelligence, all possibilities are here. We are down here in the physical experience, right at the head of the triangle. And in the middle is contemplation. And the problem I see, and I've spoke to thousands of people, one of the biggest problems that I notice is that in the middle, people are too much entertaining, too intertwined with what doesn't work versus what does. We are all creating from the same energy, right? And it's like Star Wars. We're all creating from the same force. You can choose to use the force for good, or you can choose to use the force for bad. Regardless of which way you go, we're operating with the same frequency. We're working with the same raw material. And so this is why I often also say, I don't care where someone comes from, where you've been, what color your skin is, what your religion is, how old you are, how many boyfriends you've had, how many wives you currently have, whether you know how to keep a tomato plant alive. It doesn't matter any of that shit. You have access to create anything that you confuse your mind with right now. And nothing can take that from you. Nothing can take that away from you. You are from the same divine source. And if you say, how do you know? I'm going to ask you, how do you know you're not? Right? Look for the opposite answer and then try to prove this to be true. It isn't about fact or fiction. It's about feeling. It's about feeling. So inside of the Universal Order Masterclass, we're really going to dive deep into each of these laws and how they're applying to your life. When you can start looking around you and being like, oh my God, it's fine. This is the law of rhythm. Or, oh my gosh, this is a really adverse situation. This like really sucks. What's the polarity of this? What's the polarity of this? What could be on the opposite coin of this, or the opposite side of the coin for this? Understanding even the simple principle that it's one long string and you're either over here or somewhere in the middle, but you're not off the string. Like it's an impossibility to be operating off of your golden thread. You know what I mean? Oh my God, it's mind blowing. Okay, let me scroll up and read. Look at this cute little, I'm sitting, I don't know what this is. I call it a duck off, but it's in a really cute spot in my neighborhood. Okay, feeling frequency, yes. Guys, I tell ya. Okay, I don't have many comments. That's okay. Oh, look, but I have 2,000 likes almost. Thank you very much. You're so sweet to love on me. That means a lot to me. Okay, guys, I have really enjoyed coming back and being on live stream because it's been so long. I do take these live streams and I download them and I edit if I need to. Thank you so much, Michelle. And I put these on my YouTube channel so you can always view them there. Just keep a check on there for any new ones that are coming, but I also use them in other marketing materials. So sometimes I get going because I just want that little chunk of time to post elsewhere. And if you don't do that, you should definitely give it a try. Great to catch up with you today as well. I love you all so much. I just wanted to pop this in here. Please check out my Universal Order course. I honestly believe that this is something everybody needs in their toolbox. And I said it yesterday, I'll keep saying it, no matter which way you go in this work, whether it's a philosophical way, an astrological way, in a human design, ancient philosophy, religious sectors, in any capacity, universal law is the fundamental principle that's woven through everything. There's no place that these laws do not exist, and it's literally the key to you consciously creating your results. And there's birds in this tree that are probably going to try to poop on my head. I love you so much. Thank you for joining me. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Oh, hi. So happy to see you too, Shannon. I love you so much. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.